Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome back to the deep dive. We're here again, sifting through the noise to bring you the signal, those bits of knowledge that genuinely inform and, well, empower. Today, we're embarking on I think, a truly transformative deep dive. It's about personal control, a really foundational concept. We're drawing insights mainly from this powerful framework in Mastering Mouth, Mind, Mood, and Money. It's a text that honestly offers a surprisingly direct path to shaping your life. Now, when we talk about shaping your reality, we're not just talking wishful thinking here. The source really defines it as consciously influencing your perceptions, your decisions, your actions, which in turn literally alters the opportunities you go after and the outcomes you get, everything from relationships to your career. So this deep dive, it's all about how taking intentional control over these four things, your mouth, mind, mood, and money, isn't just self-help fluff. It's about actively constructing the life you want. Our mission for you today is to uncover the maybe surprising mechanisms at play here, offer some practical insights,
and give you a framework for genuine empowerment, but without feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Think of it like getting the essential tools for your own journey.
Yeah, what immediately jumps out from this material is how it connects that internal discipline to, well, external results in a very tangible way. It argues these aren't just abstract ideas, they're critical levers. Mastering them lets you redirect your life's path, like shifting from being a passenger to actually being the pilot. It's a very active approach to living, almost architectural.
Being the pilot. That's a powerful way to put it. Okay, let's start with the first pillar then, the power of your mouth. We often think words are just, communication, but the source makes a much bolder claim and suggests our words are active creators. What's the actual mechanism here? Not just what we say out loud, but what we tell ourselves.
Oh, it's much deeper than just communication. The text really posits that mastering what you say, internally and externally, is a primary driver of your reality. Think about self-talk. There's actually research in neuroplasticity showing that constant negative self-talk can literally prune neural pathways linked to positive action. Makes it harder to start doing beneficial things.
Wow.
Yeah. And conversely, self-affirmations, if you practice them authentically, don't just feel nice. They can boost self-efficacy, reinforcing positive beliefs. They can even reduce the physiological stress response. It's like you're, well, programming your own internal operating system.
So it's less about just thinking positively and more about the active verbalizing, whether inside your head or out loud.
Yeah.
That creates a feedback loop.
Precisely. That's the idea. The words we use become the blueprints for our internal stories. If you constantly frame challenges with "I can't" or "this is impossible," you're not just expressing doubt, you're actively building a reality where those statements tend to become true, at least for you.
Right.
And externally, the impact's just as profound. How you articulate your vision, how you negotiate, or even just offer kindness.
Right.
It's not superficial. Specific phrasing can build bridges or, create walls.
Like that example you mentioned before we started.
Exactly, like shifting from "I have to do this" to "I get to do this." It fundamentally reframes how you see an obligation, even if the task itself doesn't change. It's subtle, but it's a potent shift in your sense of agency.
That "I have to" versus "I get to." That's a practical gem right there. Really makes you think how much power we unconsciously give away with our language. Okay, so if our words are so foundational, what about the source of those words, our thoughts? This brings us right to the second pillar, disciplining your mind for success. If words are powerful, how does training our thought patterns directly help us achieve goals?
This is where the source really pushes a proactive approach, not a reactive one. It argues that disciplining your thoughts, cultivating a positive mindset, these are absolutely fundamental for overcoming challenges. But it's not about being naive or, ignoring problems. That's a common mistake.
Thinking you just have to suppress negative thoughts.
Exactly, that's not it. Instead, it's about recognizing them, acknowledging them, and then consciously choosing where you direct your mental energy.
So not thought eradication, but more like thought management, redirecting it. Can you give a quick example of how that looks practically?
Yeah, thought management is a good way to put it. It's often called cognitive reframing. So imagine you've got this tough project at work. Your first thought is, this is overwhelming, I'm going to fail. Thought discipline isn't about forcing yourself to say, "No, I'm amazing, this is easy." That might not feel true.
Right.
It's about pausing and reframing it. Maybe something like, "Okay, this is complex. That means it's a big opportunity to learn and grow. What's the very first small step I can actually take?" See that shift? It moves you from feeling paralyzed to taking action.
Yeah, I do.
And the source suggests this isn't just a mental trick. It builds real resilience.
Hmm.
It helps you learn from setbacks instead of being totally derailed by them.
Yeah.
It's pretty fundamental for anyone trying to navigate obstacles and reach their goals. It kind of determines your long-term perseverance.
That feels much more actionable than just think positive. It really sounds like an active skill you need to develop. Okay, so we're mastering words, disciplining thoughts. Where do emotions fit in? Our moods often feel like they just happen to us, right? Like we can't really manage them actively. What does the text suggest about managing our emotional states?
Well, that feeling of moods just happening. That's precisely what the text challenges. It makes a really compelling case that managing your emotional state through awareness and gratitude empowers you to choose your response, rather than just being dictated to by your circumstances or feelings.
And it's not about bottling things up, because that never seems to end well.
No, definitely not about bottling up. It's about acknowledging the emotion, maybe giving it some space, but then actively deciding how to move forward, not letting it grab the steering wheel.
Okay, so how do awareness and gratitude play into that?
All right, let's break those down. Awareness just means recognizing an emotion as it arises, noticing the physical feelings, the thoughts connected to it. Crucially, without judgment, just creating that tiny bit of space, that split second between the trigger and your usual reaction, that gives you agency. It's a moment of choice.
A pause button.
Exactly, a mental pause button. And gratitude, then, becomes a tool for active redirection. There's research, on the vagus nerve. It influences heart rate, digestion, mood, all that stuff. It suggests practicing gratitude can actually stimulate it, promoting a calmer state, reducing stress hormones like cortisol.
So it's physiological, too, not just a nice thought.
Yeah, it seems so. It's a physiological shift. By intentionally focusing on what is working, what you appreciate, you can literally change your emotional state and your outlook.
That's incredibly powerful. The idea we can consciously choose our response,
Yeah.
even influence our body's reaction. It feels revolutionary for dealing with daily frustrations. And this raises a question for you, listening. How often do you find yourself just reacting impulsively to situations, to people? And how might taking a moment for awareness or consciously shifting to gratitude, how might that change the outcome next time?
It's really about reclaiming your agency in that moment, in real time.
Absolutely. Okay, and finally, money. This one often feels purely external, doesn't it? Something that just is. But our source connects it directly to personal control, to purposeful living. How does financial stewardship fit into this whole framework alongside mouth, mind, and mood? It feels, I don't know, the most tangible, but maybe the most overlooked when we talk about inner work.
Yeah, it often gets put in a separate box, but the text makes a very clear, very compelling case for integrating it. It emphasizes financial stewardship through planning, saving, investing, and asserts this isn't just about getting rich, it directly leads to freedom and the ability to build a purposeful life. Money, in this view, is a critical tool for self-mastery.
So leveraging money as a resource to actually live your purpose instead of letting money troubles dictate your life.
Exactly that. Let's look at the components. Planning means setting clear financial goals, knowing where you are now, creating a roadmap. It's proactive.
Right.
Saving builds security, that buffer against unexpected stuff. You could call it future resilience. And investing, well, that lets your money grow over time, potentially amplifying your efforts. Think compound interest, that snowball effect.
Right, right.
And these actions, crucially, they create freedom.
Yeah.
The ability to make choices aligned with your values. Maybe it's career flexibility, maybe time for passion projects, contributing to causes. When you're financially secure, you have the resources, sure, but also the mental space to pursue what truly matters. You're not just driven by necessity.
That really reframes money from something to stress over to a powerful lever for living intentionally, empowering your choices.
Okay, so what does this all mean when we pull it together? We've looked at mouth, mind, mood, money separately, but how do they really interact? Does mastering one help the others?
Oh, absolutely. If we connect it all to the bigger picture, it's clear these aren't isolated silos. They form a holistic system. Think of it like the interdependent systems in a high-performance car. They all need to work together. Mastering what you say, for example, can profoundly influence your mindset. That positive self-talk we mentioned literally primes your brain for more optimistic thinking.
Okay.
And that positive mindset, in turn, impacts your emotional state, makes you more resilient, less prone to just getting stuck in negative moods. And I can totally see how that emotional state, your mood, would then directly affect financial decisions. Someone with a disciplined mind, a managed mood,
Yeah.
they'd likely make more rational, long-term money choices, right? Not impulsive ones driven by fear or anxiety.
Absolutely. And the reverse is true too. Poor financial management can create huge stress. That stress negatively impacts your mood, makes positive self-talk feel almost impossible, and definitely disrupts your thought discipline. It's all
What
connected.
a feedback loop.
Exactly. The source really emphasizes that improvement in one area creates this powerful ripple effect. It strengthens the others, and that leads to a more profound, more integrated sense of control and purpose. Imagine the synergy, when all four areas, your words, thoughts, emotions, financial actions are intentionally aligned. That's where true personal mastery, as this text describes it, really starts to happen. It lets you actively compose your life, not just react to it.
Wow. This deep dive into mastering mouth, mind, mood, and money.
Mm.
It really shows the incredible, often untapped power you hold in shaping your own experience. It's about understanding that every word, every thought, every emotion managed, every financial decision, it's all a brick in the foundation of your reality. You're the architect.
Yeah, the source lays out a powerful framework, a roadmap for living intentionally, but it does leave us with a final, maybe provocative question for you, the listener. If mastering these four areas truly empowers us to shape our individual realities, what does that imply for how we approach bigger things, not just personal purpose, but maybe collective challenges? How might aligning these M's within, say, a community, how might that transform our shared reality? And what responsibility could that imply for each of us? Something to mull over as you navigate your week.